Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Council. It's your girl, Cosette,
Lexi,
and Rachel.
Me, 5 seconds after, I'm crying from a tummy ache.
Yeah. Cosette is...
Our
She's a trooper.
Our
She's
ladies
a trooper.
are sipping on some wine this episode. Not me.
Yeah, Rachel and I are going no places, but Cosette's feeling.
Yeah, I'm feeling.
We're
a lot.
chilling.
Yeah, this is nice.
You guys.
This is why we're also filming here, because we get to do stuff like this.
Yeah,
That's right.
You guys are enjoying wine right now. I'm enjoying water. I would say that we're kind of like the opposites right now, aren't we?
We are the
Stop it.
opposites.
Stop with your segues.
But we still get along.
You're so good.
Do opposites attract?
You know what? Maybe it works.
It sometimes
Maybe
works,
this is a
doesn't it?
long-term relationship.
I wouldn't be
I
opposed
think this
to
is a
it.
long-term thing.
I'm thinking.
So let's talk about, they always say, well, opposites attract, but they don't always. I feel like a lot of the relationship examples I've seen in my life are opposites. Like my parents are complete opposite. My mom is a very Aquarius, free-flowing Spaniard who just makes plans at the freaking snap of a snap.
Drop of a
Drop
hat.
of
I
a
think
hat,
you're mixing
drop of a pin.
Snap of a hat.
And my father is an ex-militant, German, very structured. So they're the complete
Wow.
opposite. And I feel in a lot of ways, my relationship now is the complete opposite, where I feel like I've taken over more of that German, I'm very... Not to stereotype, but I can because I'm German. I'm very scheduled. I'm very to the books. If plans change, I freak out. And Mr. Tennis is a Spaniard, and he's very free-flowing,
Carefree.
yeah, whatever. If plans change, that's totally fine for him. And neither is right or wrong. They're just very different. What kind of dynamics do you guys have in your relationships right now?
I feel right now, I feel very in tune with you and your relationship, because that's very similar to how I feel. And I've been working so hard at being more flexible and
it's a struggle.
spontaneous with plans changing, because, there'll be examples where he says, I'll be back at 2 and then we'll leave here. And I'm like, okay, great. I know what I'm going to do with my day while you're away. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I schedule this. I'm walking the dogs, mid-walking dogs. And he calls me and is, hey, so what if you come here and from here we leave to there and we do that? My mind goes into spaz.
Literally, me too. I spaz out.
Yep,
Well, you need to get
out.
ready. You need a shower.
Right. Usually there's the time frame has changed now where I'm not ready.
I'm
not
the
ready.
exact same way. I need to know exactly what is happening when.
But then I feel like I'm the one that looks like the freak out, because
the freak out.
I look like the freak out because he's the one it's just chill. It's all good. And I'm like, no,
we are
not.
mirrored versions of each other.
Exact same with Mr. Right. I mean, that's how he operates. That's his coolness. And I feel like we're both working on meeting each other.
Meeting each other in the middle.
But,
there's a happy compromise.
So I think opposites can work if you both kind of acknowledge the oppositeness.
And
you don't
embrace
push
embrace each other's
Yes.
needs. And if I think it's important, if your partner is someone who really cares about scheduling and needs to know what's going on, try to clue them in a little bit sooner.
Which I think all three of us have had that issue where I'm like, all I'm asking for is you keeping me in the loop.
Yes.
Keep me in the loop.
This is a therapy session for me.
It is.
All I need is a message to say, these are the plans.
Yeah.
Instead of me day before or night, whatever. Oh, tomorrow we're doing this.
Thank you.
I just need mental prep. And I need to, why? When did you find out? Oh,
no.
You found out 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
What was the problem with me saying, 2 weeks Saturday?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
No, that's exact. Before we get, I want Rachel to
Yeah.
share hers too, but I just had something that I thought of speaking on this same thing is I sometimes just need my mind to process. Last minute, Mr. Tennis called me the other night and was like, hey, I know we had plans to go to the movies tonight, but my friends really want us to go over for dinner. And this was I had a plan. I had the tickets booked for a week. I was excited to go see the movie. I had been talking about how excited I was. And he was like, okay, well, can we change the plan, please? And he was respectful of the fact that it was changing for me, gave me the validation. But he's like, okay, so what do you think? It was in a few hours. He's like, can you give me an answer? And I was like, you should go, absolutely. I think I just need a little bit of time, and then I'll let you know, because I was like, I'm probably going to go, but I just need some time to process that my whole day has changed now, and everything that I've planned, I was going to wear, I had my lounge outfit laid out. I found this, he doesn't know this, but I
Now
found
he does.
I dug out the gift card for this gift card that I had for this boba place, and I had planned to take us to boba beforehand. I was like, I did a mask on my face. I was excited to not wear any makeup. Like,
Yeah.
it's so silly,
Yeah.
but these small
No,
little
it's the-
things. Okay, now you're telling me that I have to get dressed up, and not that I have to get dressed up and put on makeup,
It's
but
just a different now
I'm like,
change of
yeah.
mindset and prep work, and it's
Yeah.
And I just like I'm just not the kind of person who can give you an answer on the spot. I need a little bit of time to like figure out how that changes everything for me. And it's just the way that our minds work, and not everyone's minds work that
Rachel,
way.
how does
but-
your mind work?
Yeah, Rachel, how does your mind work? And how does Bachelor's mind work?
I feel like I'm very fortunate. I feel like we are pretty much on the same wavelength in regards to
And
schedules.
us three, I think so too. Like you two are pretty consistent in that way.
But I will say we had to get there. So just our lives are just so crazy. We need schedules. And I think in the beginning of our relationship, you know, me and the Bachelor, whenever anything would happen, the communication wasn't like if anything was scheduled, the communication wasn't really there. So it's like, oh, last minute I was told that this was going to happen. And I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known this. When did you figure this out? Oh, 2 weeks ago. So, but you know, I was
did
like,
happen a
oh,
lot,
man.
really.
But now I feel like I expressed to him how important scheduling is to me
Yeah.
because we both have our own lives, own agendas, and then we have our lives, you know, together. And
That's so funny.
now, like, if something's in the calendar, if there's a plan made, literally put it in as soon as it's confirmed. We have a shared calendar, and it's like, okay, let's see, are we busy? You know, in two Saturdays from now, we check our schedule. Oh, we're busy. So it's like the confusion or the, you know, not knowing what's going on is primarily not there. So I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah,
I
I
love
need
that.
that.
Yeah.
I need structure.
And
When it comes
again,
to schedules, I need structure.
I do too. And I think that's just like what we're talking. It's like opposite mindsets. And that's okay. It's not like any of them were doing anything wrong. Or were you guys? But it's just like to meet your partner also kind of like I'm working on, okay, he didn't tell me this time where it's like a last minute. Let me work on breathing through this moment, but let's not make this the usual, and let's make like you working on trying to tell me earlier because I do. I need mental preparation to see people. I think I mean, I know you. I need alone time a lot, and if I feel like my social battery is just not willing to give a lot, I don't want to be put on the spot to like, "Oh my god, I can't generate all of that socialness
If
in
I'm
that
not feeling
moment."
so,
Yeah.
Then the other night when I thought I was going to a movie and then I was told I'm meeting friends for the first time and making
Yeah.
dinner with them and spending like all night with them, I was like, that is-
Obviously, you want to look pretty.
well, that's also just a whole different like
And you like
mindset.
now you have
Yeah.
to embrace like the maybe more small talk or like what are you going to do and getting to know a person that
be more
requires
social, use more
that-
energy.
Yes, that requires so
I was
much
talking to my
more.
cousin and she was like, it's the difference between going into a movie and turning your mind off versus meeting new people, trying to like get along with them and impress
Being your
them,
best version,
and turning
yeah.
your mind
Yeah.
on. Like it requires a different part of the brain.
I'm already tired now.
I know, but yeah, it's
But
like so.
it's not like it's less fun. It's just it
Yeah.
requires so much more. So it's appreciated when you tell us ahead of time.
I
Yeah.
think for you two, since you guys, you know, your partners are a little opposite.
therapist Rachel in the
I
house.
think
I know, I love this.
I think the best move is, you know, just be a little bit flexible. I know we love schedules, but also your partners are the opposite of
Yeah.
you, and just being a little lenient on your side.
I
but
constantly
also
try.
on their side.
Yeah, I
this
feel
is for
like
them as
I'm
well, you know.
Yeah.
constantly trying, Rachel.
No, that's the most important thing is to be flexible and
Yeah.
for me to realize that the world is not going to crash and burn if I have to go socialize instead of going to a movie last
Sometimes it
minute.
does.
If I have
Because
to if I have to cancel the movie, like it's going to be okay. But so in certain situations opposites do attract and it's amazing. In other situations they don't work. Let's talk about some benefits on what the upside of being with someone who's opposite of you is.
I know I'm pushed outside my comfort zone so much more in a good way. I socialize with more people more often than I know by myself I wouldn't. And I think that's ultimately a plus. Like I'm allowed to have these experiences and go to these events and meet new people and socialize and do things that I wouldn't be having. I wouldn't have those memories because ultimately my comfort zone is like at home by myself, like just in
Reading
my
a book.
Yeah, reading my book, watching my movie, walking my dog.
My comfort zone is
Yeah.
in my bed with my heating pad on my
Yeah,
stomach.
yeah, I know you're like you're like wishing. For
I'm like I can't wait for that moment.
So I'm really thankful that because he's such a social butterfly,
He brings that out of
yeah,
you?
he brings that out of me. And like a perfect example of this is we went to an Unwell event by my girl Alex Cooper.
I know the story. I
Yep.
love it.
This was like right before my birthday, and I told him, I was like, we're going to this event, which is now kind of a trek because we live in Orange County and it was in West Hollywood. So I'm like, we got to do this Thursday night. He's like, yes, we can do this. You know, it was such a fun event. And, you know, Alex Cooper comes out to the side, and I'm like waving at her, and I feel like the proximity is just so close, and I was satisfied. He's like, so what do you want to do? And because she went back behind the stage or whatever. And I was like, I'm good. Like, I saw her so close. I took a picture that's on another girl's phone. You took pictures off my phone from afar. Like, I'm good. I feel like I made it. And he's like, yeah, okay. And we're right next to the, like, kind of like the VIP section. You go down these stairs, and there's like a bodyguard standing there. And he kind of walks away. And Diego's like, just casually walks down. My mind goes into a complete panic. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh,
I was
would
like,
too.
if we get caught, I'm going to be labeled a stalker. I'm going to be thrown out. I just was running through everything that was going to be wrong. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. He's like, follow me. Like, what the doors go to close. And I'm like, act cool, act cool. And I'm like, so petrified. And he's just so chill, walking through, acting like he's meant to be there, nodding at the second security guy.
Nodding at the security guard is
just
so
like
funny.
following in. I'm like, frantic. We go in. He's like, see, just act chill. I'm like, I'm not chill. I'm not chill. He's like,
Your heart was pounding.
continues up the second set of winding stairs. And I'm like, I'm not okay. We go up the second stairs. There, Alex Cooper, if you're listening ever to this, there she was.
She's gonna be like, we need to increase
And
security.
I like, Diego's like kind of slowing down, and I walked to the farthest end of the room, like of how far you could walk before, like, you know, there's no more room. And
Before there's no more
I'm
room.
like walking over there. He's like, Alex Cooper is over there. I'm like, I know. I needed a moment because I'm panicking, and so I just need to collect myself before I make a fool out of myself, or just she knows, like, crazy person, you're not supposed to be here. It did not turn out that way. People were talking to us. It was so much fun. Alex Cooper came and talked to me, and I'll forever hold that moment. And that was all because he just like is a little bit more of that like risque. I think like
That's exactly how Mr. Tennis
right.
is. Yeah.
So
he would have done the same exact
exactly.
thing.
And in those moments, you're like, thank you for pushing me outside my comfort zone. Even though in the moment I may not have enjoyed
Even though I had
it.
a heart attack.
Even though I had a mini heart attack, it was the greatest moment
It's
ever.
so
like,
and I love that because you would have never done
I would
that
have never have done
if
it.
he didn't push you to
and
do that.
he did it, and I kept saying, I'm like, that was so cool. I feel like kind of like risky and edgy, but also like, whoa, we did that. And that I think is a perfect example from our relationship where opposites work when
I love that story. That's
Yeah.
probably
Me
one of my
too.
favorite stories
Yeah.
between you guys.
Oh,
I love
thank
it.
you. That
I
was
think pushing out of the comfort zone is like one of the biggest pros right there.
probably.
And I feel that all the time too, that like Mr. Tennis would even like he always says, well, you're not going to get something if you don't ask for it. And I'm more so like, I'd rather not ask for it. I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like he'll ask for anything. He'll ask for an upgrade. He'll ask for a refund for something. Like
Same.
he's very bold in that way. And his mentality, I think, is more so just like, well, whatever. They're not going to remember my face. But I'm thinking exactly like you.
Yeah, I know. I'm
But
like
it's
already
great-
like sweating.
Yeah, it's great to have someone to push us out of that comfort zone. Another thing that I think really is a benefit of opposites attract is feeling like you have someone who recharges the relationship and then who soothes the relationship. Like my dad has always been like really high energy, and I think that Mr. Tennis is the same way. And well, not like very different, but like those are. Well, my dad can be high energy, but then he could all like sometimes my dad gets heated and my mom tries to soothe him down. But my mom is definitely more of the social butterfly, and then my dad's more of just like, I want to go home now. I'm done socializing.
I think that's
I'm
that's
realizing
when
I'm
they
a lot like
complement
my
each
dad.
other. I know. That's so funny. I think those are great ways that they complement each
Yeah.
other rather than when they can cause friction. Which Rachel, do you have moments where opposites have not worked out and that just friction just doesn't balance and operate well?
I think I do have a good example for
Yeah.
this. So in one of my past relationships, my partner was very emotional, very intense, any situation, just very heated, and, you know, would get very anxious or overwhelmed if there was slight changes or if something didn't work out. And I think that was the complete opposite of who I was. Me, shit could hit the fan, and I'm still like, okay, I'm going with the flow. It's like, there's so much going on in life. I don't want to add
You're
more
so resilient and
stress or anxiety. It's like, I already got too much going on. So literally, if like I receive the worst news, it's like, damn, that like fucking sucks. But am I gonna like throw
that was a great
throw
reaction.
shit around?
She's just like, damn, that sucks. Like, but like,
No.
what are you gonna do? And you had someone
It's
that
just-
reacted completely different than how you
I
do.
was just, more calm and collected and thought things out and didn't express or show how I felt, My partner, if he was mad, you would see.
Yeah.
If he was mad, everyone would see. And it's like, come on, man. Like sometimes you gotta just put yourself together. And that was a situation where it just didn't work out.
It sounds like, though, like just from what you were saying with your parents' dynamic, how that really works with the soother and the someone who's yours was like,
Oh, I tried to soothe.
right. Like it sounds like you probably were in that role of the soother, but instead of him like understanding that, he probably lashed out more at you and made it your fault. Or like, I just feel like there was so much more of like, okay, let me calm down. I'm anxious right now, but you're right. Like I can simmer down. Instead, it was like, well, it's your fault or it's this. And it's like, that's when it's just not right. And how his reaction was just not complimenting yours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like, especially when it's in like a public space, like a big no-no for me is you do not cause a scene in a public space. It's like, okay, we might have issues. Let's get home. Let's get in the car. Let's talk about it. But do not create a scene.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And
That's not
sometimes people,
happening.
there can be attraction, but it's not necessarily compatibility. Like you could think it's all fun and games at first, you guys. It's really fun because you're so different, but then it comes down to it. And yeah, you guys have different ways of resolving conflict. You have different styles of communication,
'cause,
and you're not meeting each other.
I mean,
there.
we're not talking about probably the big opposites, which, do you want kids or not? Do you have different political views or religions? Or like, do you want to live on separate sides of the country? Like, yes, those are fundamental opposites that are way bigger at play. But when it's those small opposites that may seem fun at the beginning, and that's what I think we're talking about is like those like, oh my gosh, he's so rebellious. That's so fun.
Yeah.
But does that opposite compliment you, or does it put you in a state of mind that ultimately doesn't serve you? Like, I think that's what we're talking about.
Yeah. No, exactly.
They say that the magic ingredient that separates opposites working from not working is a mutual respect and understanding and meeting your partner. Like, I know that you need to know if I'm changing plans. I don't operate that way, but I'm going to take that into account when I'm telling you about planned changes.
That's so true.
It's just like, that's what it comes down to. It is, can you not just tolerate the differences, but can you respect and change the way that
Can you
communicate?
appreciate that my mind thinks differently than yours?
And I don't need to think the same. Like, I don't want you to convince me that I need to be flexible.
Yeah.
I'm allowed. Like, I was talking to my therapist about the fact that, like,
Getting so passionate in there.
when plans change, I freak out. And I was like, am I like, Mr. Tennis is so easygoing. Why do I freak out? Like, what is going on with me? And she was like, first of all, that's the way that you are. So next time you start freaking out, like, let yourself freak out, listen to your body and be like, okay, yeah, you can try to be more flexible, but at the end of the day, that's not going to be an overnight thing. Like, you can still sit in the uncomfortability of like, okay, this plan is changing and it's making me a little bit anxious and nervous. And so I think that when you have like curiosity about how the other person's mind works, that respect, and not just criticism for like, okay, well, the way that I think is right and you're wrong. And
right, just like meet me all the way over here because this is how I'm going to operate and you have to join me. Then that's not respect. That's not like, okay, I'm just going to have to bend this whole time. That's
everyone
not
is.
okay.
My mom would always say that if everyone was the same, this world would be so boring. And
true.
it's truly like, when I'm with my partner, like, I don't want him to be exactly how I am. In fact, I think that would be a quite miserable relationship because I'm just so type A. But I want, like, I respect and I understand how his mind works, and I want that same, which I do have it. But like, I think that that's where the opposites attract really wins.
In just in a relationship in general, it's never my way is the highway. It's our way is the highway.
Exactly.
It's a middle ground.
Yeah. But it's not necessarily about how different you are, but it is about how willing you are to understand each other.
Yeah.
So
No, it can be a lot of fun. it can be quite the ride. And
Yeah.
I think you're right. Like if you're with someone who's just like you, I don't think you also learn as much. You know, you're learning about someone new, and that curiosity can always be piqued if you're with that right sort of opposite,
Yeah.
where you're like, dang, they are a wild card, and my mind is constantly learning something new about them. They're constantly doing this, or whoa, they have such different hobbies than me. I can learn something new. And
Yeah, I feel like you could grow with an opposite.
it's just like if you embrace that mindset and have that respect, like you were mentioning, it's really fun. And yeah, it's exciting.
Absolutely. So I think we've learned that opposites can attract, but they don't immediately or automatically align. That takes
Yes.
work and understanding how you can come together and actually both benefit
That
from
doesn't
being
mean we're saying like,
opposites.
oh, seek out the F boy or the bad boy,
No.
because that kind of opposite may not be
vibe.
healthy
It's
for
more
you.
of just like, yeah,
But-
there's comfort if you realize that you and your partner are total opposites. That doesn't mean also that the like exact same type of person can't be together. Like
Yes.
your partner doesn't have to be your opposite, but they do say that
But don't
opposites
shy away
attract.
from that.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
if you hear someone has different interests or hobbies, that's okay to like learn more about
Yeah.
them and see if they work with your lifestyle. Yeah.
I hope that helps. I hope that helped anyone.
I think it has
out there.
helped me. Hopefully I can practice some
Yeah.
of that. Like
It's
it's
always a
okay.
good refresh.
It's okay.
It's a good
Plans can
reminder.
change.
Let's be
I'm
flexible.
chill.
We're the chill girlfriends
chill
now.
girlfriends.
Chill. But thanks guys so much for
Rachel's a chill girlfriend.
listening to this
Thank
episode.
you.
We're
Yeah.
all chill. We're all chill girls.
Yeah, we're all chill.
Leave us a review. Follow
just a
us.
girl.
I'm just a girl. Follow us on everything. And also huge shout out again to Pacific Lens for letting us shoot in this amazing space.
I do not get over it every time we're in here.
Yeah.
I think
If
this
you're
is
looking
such
for,
a cute place.
thank you. If you're looking if you're looking for a podcast studio to film at,
She's had too much wine,
Orange
guys.
County.
Cut her off.
Orange County, California, they're the spot for you guys.
Yeah, this has been amazing. So thanks guys for
Cheers
listening.
to them.
Cheers. Signing off. It's Cosette.
Lexi.
And Rachel.
Bye.